Welcome back to the Friday Show. I'm Scott Jagow, editor of the Pollock Report, along with publisher Ray Pollock. It is Friday the 13th, 2015. Ray, are you superstitious at all?
Not in the least. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, great. That's a great way to start the show. I'm sure something will go wrong now. Anyway, there's some good racing this weekend, including the Southwest Stakes at Oaklawn Park, a Derby prep. But let's go back to last weekend, the big race between California Chrome and Shared Belief. What was your takeaway from it?
I felt like both horses kind of ran their races. As Trevor said, this is the race we've been waiting for. But I think the difference might have been that last workout for California Chrome wasn't quite what Art Sherman wanted, and it might have showed in the last eighth of a mile. But on the other hand, maybe Shared Belief is just a better horse.
Yeah, I think the excuses could start to wear thin for California Chrome. He's lost 4 races in a row on dirt. Now, the Belmont Stakes last year, that's a tough event, especially after being in the other 2 Triple Crown races. You can give him a pass for that one, probably. I don't know, Pennsylvania Derby, maybe he wasn't cranked up once again. But the Classic, I can't give him a pass on. He had a good trip in that race. My takeaway is that the voters really didn't give Shared Belief enough credit for what happened in the Classic. I did and voted him Horse of the Year. He wasn't even a finalist. And looking back, that seems kind of silly.
Well, let's have a do-over. What do you think? We'll get a different result this time?
I doubt it. That was last year. I'm ready to move on. Let's move on right now to the inbox. Ray, one of the many emails we got this week kind of caught my eye for maybe a possible topic of debate, and that is Frank, who writes in asking whether geldings might be better performers on the racetrack. And he was citing a couple of historical examples like Forgo and Kelso. Any merit to that?
Well, if you look at the history of the Kentucky Derby, there haven't been that many geldings that have won it, so I don't think gelding a horse makes them a better horse, but there are advantages. It makes their behavior better. A lot of geldings are hard, or a lot of colts are hard to handle, and they're gelded for that reason. It gives them more focus a lot of the time, and there are cases where it relieves a little bit of pain because some horses have testicles that are large and they hurt when they run, and when they're removed, they run better.
I do wonder with the focus issue whether there is something to that when you see a horse like Wise Dan or Shared Belief who seem to show a lot of grit and determination in the stretch. Not necessarily saying that's because they're geldings, but maybe if they have all the other tools, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's right. And it begs the old question of, gee, what too bad that he was gelded. But on the other hand, maybe Shared Belief wouldn't have been anywhere near the kind of racehorse he is now if he had not been gelded. So you lose the syndication value, but you get somebody that's a really good performer.
If you have a question for us, go to the website, pollockreport.com, and click on Ask Ray. Last week, we talked about winter racing in the Northeast, and we asked you whether you thought New York should take a break during the winter as it used to. The results came back. 85% of people said yes, New York would be better off taking a little break during the winter. Ray, what did you think about the results?
I'm very concerned that 85% of the people agree with me. I just think it's a common sense thing. New York doesn't need to race year-round anymore. We don't have the foals and we don't have the owners.
So this week's question comes to us from a development at OBS, which instituted a couple of new policies, one regarding stricter medication controls at the sales in terms of the breezes, and also the use of the riding crop in those timed workouts. So the question is, which approach do you support for policing the use of riding crops in racing? Ban them altogether, limit the number or timing of strikes, restrict parts of the horse that can be struck, or leave things the way they are? Ray, your take?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm happy to see OBS adopt these new policies, both for medication and use of the whip. I think they're both progressive policies. As far as racing is concerned, I really don't think we're quite ready to get rid of the whip yet. There are a lot of things that can be done. We're in the dark ages in terms of whip regulation compared to some of the other countries around the world. So I think we can make some progress.
It is a tough area of enforcement, a lot of shades of gray, and the jockeys do fight back on it a little bit, saying, there's a safety issue here. We can't control the horses if we don't have riding crops, but I do agree that some advancement is necessary. Why don't you let us know what you think about this issue, going to the website, pollockreport.com, and click on the poll on the homepage. Thanks so much for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on The Friday Show.